ESL. This is hardcore esports action.
Alrighty, yeah. So we'll see what Monstar Kittenz decides to do. And they're actually going to go ahead and ban the Syndra right off the bat. So one of the biggest strategies that a lot of these challenger teams like to do is when they lose a first game pretty handily, like we just saw, they tend to just try and stop the momentum of the enemy team by target banning a lot of the strong picks that they went with the last game.
I don't like that ban, though.
It did have a high impact, but I mean...
He's got Orianna, he's got
Zed.
Fizz, he's Zed. He can do a bunch of stuff.
Exactly.
This man's champion pool may be a little small, but there's plenty of options for him to pick from. You can't ban him all the way. And again, we're not going to see ArcSec and Xerath. This is something that I would love to see, but it's his best champion.
It's his best champion by far, and I actually watched a couple of their matches last week and a couple of their scrims last week, and he was getting solo kills on Xerath in the mid game, just picking people off left and right. He loves that control-oriented style of mid laner. Loves to play Orianna, Xerath, even Jace. You saw he didn't really play it very aggressively. It's hard to play aggressively against Syndra.
It's hard to play control as Jace. I mean, you have Shock Blast and Acceleration Gate, but it's on a very long cooldown.
Yeah,
early
exactly.
on. Like,
yeah,
it's hard. But the band's coming on through. We're going to see the Draven away. We're going to see the Gnar away as well. So we're not going to see Chump John picking that up, unfortunately. And then there's the Jarvan and Rengar.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed we're not going to see Hoofsparks Draven. I'm pretty sure that's going to be permaban this entire tournament, even if Monstar Kittenz makes it past. If they make it past this next game.
I mean, trying to get over the hill that is CompLexity White that apparently is showing up for this event, wanting to make it through. And if they do, they're going to be playing against Curse Academy.
Yeah, and that's a tough matchup. But CompLexity White has been working really hard. We mentioned CompLexity Black was the team that actually took CompLexity's automatic seed.
Yep.
And CompLexity White had to qualify through the ladder. And they were pretty high seeded, 5th seed from the ladder. And 7th seed overall, which is really impressive considering they haven't even been together very long.
No.
And brand new roster, and you can tell they're working hard. West Rice is a really big deal. He went from having the most deaths out of any player in the summer split of 2014 in the LCS and the lowest KD of any top laner to seeming like he's improved a lot and worked really hard to get where he is.
So we're going to see the Janna picked up here. A very up-and-coming pick. A lot of players have tweeted, have been in games. They say that they really don't like Janna.
Yeah.
She's kind of the Elo honey or something like that. But we'll see Hanjaro playing him. Doesn't really fit his character, you know. He's a big brawly man. You feel like he's going to play the Alstars, the Broms, everything like that, everything manly. But we'll see him play the Janna. But maybe baby going back to the Lucian.
Going back to Lucian. That's probably the biggest comfort pick for him. And Kez as well, the Sightstone junglers. Elise, Lee Sin, those guys like to build Sightstone early on. Kez plays Lee Sin a little bit more aggressively than he plays other junglers, but compared to other junglers that are in this tournament that play Lee Sin, he actually plays it a lot more passively. So I'm excited to see that. And of course, Chumpdon, you mentioned, he's a burly guy with a beard, so watching him play Janna is really weird. And
No, Hanjaro.
Hanjaro, yeah, sorry. Hanjaro is actually a really burly guy, and he likes to play the Janna, though. I think Janna is probably his best champion. I think it's one of his most played in solo queue. He likes to play Blitzcrank as well. Don't think we're going to get to see that.
Blitzcrank really doesn't fit too well in the competitive scene, unfortunately.
Not right now. Outside of the hook, he really just runs around a team fight really fast with his arms waving.
All right, that's it.
That's it. I'm out.
Peace.
Yep.
All right, but there's an aggressive jungle for Sojin now in the Kha'Zix, so
yeah,
I want to see if he can get some plays going with that. There's something already better to synergize with it in the Orianna. You know, get the dissonance out, you get the slow onto the opposing mid laner, and then just isolate him.
Yeah, and Sojin, probably a lot of his playstyle is solo queue-esque.
Yeah.
We didn't really get to see it much in the last game. Maybe nerves. He was playing really passively, really conservatively on Lee Sin. But Kha'Zix fits his playstyle immensely. He's very versatile. He can go for a more farm-heavy approach.
Yep.
He can go for the vision approach. He can also go for the aggressive approach. And Sojin has a lot of games with Kha'Zix. It's one of his most played, so we'll have to see that. And of course, ArcSec going with a comfort pick here. He's playing that control-oriented mage. He's playing that Orianna. So looking to make some big plays with the Shockwave. Oh, the Zed.
We're going to see some big plays with the Deathmark possibly here.
Yep.
For Golden Glue. And then it's going to be the Lifesteal lane down bot again. Lucian Thresh. Looking to be the lane that they'll always go to if it's available from the side of CompLexity White. Maybe Baby and Lil Pally. I like it. It's consistent. It's nice to play. A lot of good control, a lot of good safety you can have with the Dark Passage as well to pull him through with that Lantern. So that's a nice combo. I'm wondering if Hoofspark is going to go back to the Corki. It was an okay lane for them, but it didn't do anything. He got his Trinity Force, but then it was like, now what?
Yeah, I'm really looking for more from him because Corki has the potential to really bully out in lane, especially once he gets the early Phage or the early Sheen. It really helps with winning trades, especially with the Janna. If they decide to go for the Corki this game, Janna is actually really good at trading because you put on the shield. Not only are you doing more damage, but you're also blocking a lot of the damage that's coming in. Oh, ChumpJohn picking up the Aurelia. That is not only a big deal because Aurelia is one of ChumpJohn's mains, but it's also a big deal because you're taking away from Westrise, which he's been playing a whole heck of a lot of in the past weeks.
Oh, Vayne now. Whoa. That's interesting because her range, very low. Lucian has no problem harassing her out. And the piercing lights, they're all so tough to deal with unless you tumble away from it. And then if you put that on cooldown, you have a tough time as well moving around. But I like it. It brings a lot of good late game. She's going to be able to have true damage with the Silver Bolts. She can chunk away through mostly anybody. Yep. But then she's susceptible to Zed. Getting one shot by Deathmark. You don't have a Quicksilver Sash or your heal up, you're dead.
I think the game is going to depend on Spark's Vayne play because you said probably one of the riskiest picks you could have made in this situation. All those things that you have to worry about, plus you're going to have a rough time in the laning phase with going up against Thresh Lucian. If you get hit by a hook on Vayne, it's especially with the Lucian there to follow up, and you mentioned how it's so easy for Lucian to be able to run in there and harass a Vayne. That could just be death because if you get behind on that Vayne, it's going to be really tough for you to get back into the game.
Indeed, and the last pick here is going to be the Malphite, so...
Oh, wow.
Westrise with the rock up top, going to look to see if he can smash some phases in with that unstoppable force.
Yep.
Taking TP in level 6, that's going to be tough to fight anything into because you can't go Dragon, you can't go Baron. You just always have that threat of him making a beeline straight for your backline.
This is like the quintessential CompLexity White composition to me. I've watched a lot of their games over the past couple weeks, and they really, really go for this type of style. I can imagine that they're going to have a lot of split pushing going on for Golden Glue, and they're going to roam around as 4, gain vision, and might even look for fights with the remaining 4. A lot of challenger teams, a lot of inexperienced challenger teams tend to not deal with split push well. Yeah. And CompLexity White is great at capitalizing on that, and especially with Westrise taking that Malphite. Malphite is a champion where you can do more with less. You can get away with having less farm because of the power of your initiation, and so he can really allow Golden Glue to get in there, split push, get the gold, get the CS, and win the game that way, and it can really turn a lot of heads.
All right, guys, so if you want to tell us about your predictions for this match, and maybe if it'll go to Game 3, see who you want to win, you can tweet at us at LOL Esports, #LCS expansion. So we're going to get into this game as soon as possible, as well as keep talking about these picks, because Aurelia versus Malphite, you got some true damage to go through that armor, you got sustain and hit 10 style, equilibrium strikes, very a reliable stun, and then her ultimate just dancing those blades all the way through and healing up, so tough to deal with in that aspect. Mid lane Orianna versus Zed.
Yeah, that could be. And Golden Glue has so much experience on Zed. When he originally joined Dignitas, a lot of people pegged him as an assassin player. He played a lot of assassins in solo queue before he actually made his appearance on Dig and before he actually went over to Coast. Zed, by far one of his most played champions. And so he's really experienced on that. And the Orianna matchup is something that I know he has a lot of experience with. Yep. It's something that I've watched him play quite a bit of times. And he plays it really well. And of course, I mentioned the split push. He'll get a lead in lane, and then he'll translate that lead into other lanes, which is something that good assassin players really need to do.
All right, so it looks like we got the game ready. We're going to go into the Rift. This is potentially going to be the last game between CompLexity White and Monstar Kittenz. So we'll see what they can do here as they're ready to go. We're going to see if any cheeky invades come out and if any first bloods happen before 10 minutes this time.
Yeah, I think it was 13 minutes that the first blood came in last game, so that was pretty ridiculous. But I don't know if I'll see it happening because both of these junglers were playing really conservatively last game. Top lane, that's a tough lane to gank for either side. Maybe Aurelia a little bit more susceptible. I think Vayne is going to be a high priority target for these guys. It looks like they're actually either going for a lane swap here or just transitioning for maybe a late blue invade is the other thing that they could be going for with this positioning.
I mean, already up top, like Baby and Low Pally, they're sitting in that brush, they're sitting up, and I felt like they were going to go for a lane swap here, but I wouldn't really want them to. They could dominate that bot lane, but Janna's still pretty annoying. Vayne can dodge away, and they're going double exhaust as well. I didn't even notice this. I thought there was going to be a heal for Hoofspark, but double exhaust in this bot lane for the Monstar Kittenz side.
Yeah, we saw in the last series between with Zenith and Final Five, Prototype White actually
he took the exhaust.
He plays exhaust on mostly every champion, but
they had Rule 18 with heal. So
so not double exhaust. That's it takes a lot of coordination, I guess, because what if they both exhaust the same target in the team fight at the same time? So
maybe in a succession after one exhaust fades, like, all right, now you exhaust and we can keep fighting, Kern, kill them.
they're
maybe?
really scared of Golden Glue, I guess.
Yeah.
Making sure that he's exhausted throughout an entire team fight.
So we'll see now as CompLexity White, they're making the aggressive motion towards that blue, and they will just go flat up for this invade and steal. And it will be that lane swap as well. Maybe Baby going to be going in with Lil Pally up top, and then we'll see Westrise, most likely after he soaks up some XP, join down in that bot lane. So it's going to be a free farming Vayne, which is something you don't really ever see all too often.
Well, it might seem a little odd that CompLexity decided to go for the lane swap, but I think there's a couple reasons why they did. One, they might have expected the lane swap themselves because the Vayne pick is really risky. They know that it's really risky, and so they might have expected Henjaro and Hoofspark to appear in the top lane, so they went for that control over the top side and went for the lane swap just in case. The other reason is shutting down ChumpJohn, because they know that Aurelia, if she has trouble getting going, she doesn't make an impact in the game. Where on the other side, Malphite, I said earlier, he can get away with less. So he can sacrifice some of that early farm and go around the jungle with Kez and not really get ahead, but still have a huge impact on the game once he hits level 6 just because of the ultimate alone. So those are the two reasons why they went for the lane swap.
I
guess
Dragon.
we'll never know for sure. Wow, okay.
3-minute Dragon with Silver Balls level 2 and Tumble. All right, this is a very interesting early call. I like it.
Yeah. As long as they can juggle the aggro pretty well, they shouldn't take too much damage. It looks like Henjaro's trying.
They're doing the thing where you toggle the aggro between one champion to another. It'll keep his auto attack stopping. See, Henjaro's done a pretty good job of actually mastering that, so I like it. Smart call, gets them a little early advantage, gets them a nice XP, but up top, ChumpJohn. Oh, they're going to look for a dive on that wave push, but Westrise is going back.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Kez is going to join him. This is going to be a 4 versus 1 dive, and ChumpJohn might be put to a run for his money.
This could be pretty dangerous, though. ChumpJohn is level 2. The Equilibrium Strike can hold someone under turret for a long time. Kez is only level 2. Westrise is only level 2 as well. I mean, if they can land the CC, they'll be good, but let's see.
He's trying. He's doing what he can. He's dashing around. He gets it out to low pally. They exhaust him, and Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike for Kez will pick it up, but not for free.
Executed.
He will get executed. So nobody gets that kill. But nice dive by CompLexity White. Unfortunately, he loses the double buffs, and it'll take him a little bit longer to push this tier 1. But either way, they get that first blood, and it does go over to Kez, so he gets that early sight stone.
Yeah, but how much did they sacrifice to make that happen? ChumpJohn's going to be able to teleport back into the lane. Westrise can't stick around. Kez is dead, so they can't follow up on that level 1 gank, so he's not going to be put too far behind. The biggest thing there is that they got the first blood, but at the same time, Kez not wasted a lot of time, but used a lot of time to make that gank happen, and Monstar Kittenz is still ahead because of that early dragon, so CompLexity did what they could to make up for that early dragon, but at the same time, it wasn't quite enough to make it an even trade.
Sojin may be running into Kez here. Can't really see him doing the wolves, unfortunately, so he'll just shut his way back out, but he does get spotted out by this pink wolf that was actually placed out very early. So I like that. Kez, he's trying to get some control for his jungle, make sure that his blue buff doesn't get stolen again when it does respawn. And again, Sojin, he wants to keep this ward up. This is a very important ward for him. He needs to make sure that he can try to steal that blue buff for himself. A flash force down from Henjaro, a nice attempt to death sentence there by low pally, but that's a big cooldown the bow there.
Yeah, Sojin trying his best to get vision over that blue buff, but that's something we saw it last game as well. CompLexity White loves to litter the map with pink wards really early on into the game. And you said it a little bit earlier, but Kez, on most junglers, even junglers that you wouldn't even expect it, he builds Sight Zone very early, either right after he builds his first spirit item, or most of the time, right even before he even builds that spirit item.
The duel for the ward, he got it, okay. So they trade one, but pink ward more valuable. That's right there.
So I'm a little bit confused by this decision by CompLexity White, but they land the hook.
Oh, they forced out one of the exhausts, so a good bait, but Sojin is here now. There's the Howling Gale to come through. They were flashing in to try to get a condemn into the wall, but Hoofspark ended up getting knocked back, so he cannot do anything. And now the counter coming in from Kez. A teleport was actually canceled by Westrise, so Hoofspark will end up falling. There's a second exhaust to come through. Howling Gale gonna knock up one, but no, the piercing light from Mabry Baby. Gonna find himself one kill. Death Sentence forcing out another flash there from Low Pally, and that'll be the second kill of the game, going over to that Lucian.
That was just a lot of greed by Monstar Kittenz in that bot lane. As soon as they realized that they weren't going to have a secured kill, Hoofspark flashed in to try and get that condemn into the wall, but an immediate reaction from Mabry Baby, from Impactful in that bottom lane. Made it so that that was just a moot effort, and
now they're diving mid.
They should have backed out, and now the map pressure starting for CompLexity White.
Oh, Kez is in 6-0, but a good shockwave coming in. Can he command protect himself in time? He gets 1 kill at least in this. He gets the protect, the ignite, he's ticking away with the potions, but no, Golden Glue will clean that one up with that ignite, and that was a pretty ballsy dive, but trading 1 for 1 is a better scenario for Monstar Kittenz.
Yeah, and the kill did go over to Golden Glue, so I said their team a lot of the time revolves around getting Golden Glue ahead. They will make aggressive dives. Kez will sacrifice himself and sacrifice his own gold and his own resources to make sure that Golden Glue has a good time in the mid and early game, and we're seeing just that. Going for the dive, giving him a kill. Arc second did what he could with it. Great shockwave, managed to pick up a kill, but they're falling a little bit behind despite having that lead early on because of that really early dragon.
That really early dragon was actually a big offset for CompLexity. Like they're like, we can't rotate in after a kill. We can't really capitalize the fact that we killed 1 down bot and forced out all their tosses and flashes. So a really good mind game from Monstar Kittenz.
This game is a lot closer than the last game, so
Yeah.
you have to give them that. And they're controlling vision a little bit better this game. They're utilizing their own pink wards. Sojin has actually bought quite a few wards this game. We actually saw like 3 of them get killed in the blue bush alone. So they're making sure that they're playing a little bit more crisp, but at the same time, again, that's sort of falling right into CompLexity White's hand. They're playing CompLexity White's game, but we know that CompLexity White is a little bit better at it just by the last game.
Gonna get tossed over here to Golden Glue, and can you click that lantern? Oh,
No, it's over the wall. No,
it's in the wall actually. Yep. But all right, so he has take the long way around. He gets a blue buff, and he's building towards that Blade of the Rune King. So gonna try to chase people down with that, and just be a complete nuisance with it. Down bot, this tier 1, it's been taken very low for a long time, and they're finally gonna be able to finish it off.
Yeah. So this is the first tower that they've taken in this whole series. That's the key to victory for them, is making sure they get that first tower
A
and that first
100%
kill.
increase in
Yeah.
turret kills.
And we didn't make a big deal out of it, but Arc second picking up the very first kill for Monstar Kittenz in this series in the mid game. So they've broken it open. That's the start that they need to get themselves back in this game.
100% better.
Yeah, pull them
than
up by
last
the
game.
bootstraps.
All right, so we're going to see some good war control coming in from Monstar Kittenz again, and they're going to go straight towards this dragon and try to make it a 2 for 2, as there is no vision from the side of CompLexity White. So these dragons are just going to hand it over, and it's going to be a nice lead for them in the gold at least.
Yeah, they have a really great objective-taking team.
This game at least.
Yeah, maybe not turrets because of Vayne's short range, but as far as Dragon goes, as far as the Barons later in the game, their comp is a little bit better for it just because of the percent damage that you have from Vayne, the XQ damage that you have from Kha'Zix, and their mid-game teamfight is actually pretty strong as well. You never want to underestimate a Shockwave, and if you get Vayne some cleanup kills in a fight, especially early on, it's going to catapult her to that late game faster, and she's going to be able to outscale Lucian.
Yeah, outscaling Lucian is a pretty hard thing to do, though.
Yeah.
Once he gets like his Infinity's
You
Edge,
really got to get late in the game for Vayne to be able to get to that point. And you got to have a good front line, which I'm a little bit worried about their front line for Vayne in the late game. If they were the ones with the Malphite, they'd probably be in a little bit better position. But again, that Hoofspark, we've said it from the beginning. It's a risky pick,
Oh, he's
but I'm looking for it to be. Oh, wow.
He
Golden
wants
Glue.
Death Bark. He has it available to him right now with his Ignite, but just north of the Shadow, he's just going to get out safely and not commit too heavily to this. He knows Exhaust should be up. There's the Death Bark coming in. Exhaust is going to get dropped. He pops the final hour. Going to tumble, and there's a nice shield, but it's not enough to keep him alive, and they will pick him up on the counter there. So Sojin going to grab that kill, and unfortunately lose the Vayne, but they traded out for a big kill in that mid lane.
Yeah, so Golden Glue, not the best trade for him, but he's going to set Hoofspark even further behind. He's already almost 30 CS down from Maybe Baby. He's not going to get back to lane for a couple more minutes, and that's just sort of the style that Golden Glue goes for, and that's just him playing to his strengths.
Gotta say, though, that was well executed by him. I'm surprised that they Janus Shield didn't keep him alive for much longer. West Rice, he's doing a bunch of damage up here to Chump John, but this is the power of the Aurelia. Able to sustain on through and keep himself rather healthy. But with Kez moving on in, he's got those boots and mobilities, and he's got a Dragon's Rage ready with his flash. So I assume that they're going to go for this kill on Chump John. With enough mana for the Assemble Force, there it goes. The Assemble Force comes on in, Ground Slam as well. Flash swiftly out of that, but Resonating Strike following it on up. as they get the red buff. They try to slow him down as much as possible. And with the ward jump and the kick and the auto attack, there it goes. Kez finds that kill, and nobody's going to die in response this time.
Yeah, so Westeros has actually been falling quite a bit far behind in this top lane, but now he's going to get a lot more breathing room with that gank from Kez, and CompLexity White still, they're down a little bit of gold just from the objectives alone. 2 dragons and a turret, but
so
it seems like they're the ones who are the aggressors, and they're the ones who are making more moves as far as picking up kills and making map movements go.
So, a really good improvement, though, from Monstar Kittenz is, you know, they got 2 dragons, they got 1 turret, and they have that minor gold advantage despite the kills being so far down. So, showing a much better performance this time, not falling behind in the creeps, but Huspark, he is 35 CS behind. He is struggling. He's having a really tough time.
ArcSecond's really redeeming himself, though. You can tell just how more comfortable he is playing that Orianna, playing that control mage. He's making moves in the mid lane. He's a little bit behind from Golden Glue on the CS, but I mean that's just because Golden Glue's been getting CS from the side.
Oh, the Shockwave comes in with the dissonance. Can they find the kill? Ignite gets dropped, and even with the shield and the heal, will he fall? One more tick, and there goes ArcSecond. Gonna find his 2nd kill of the game, and he's out of that Rod of Ages, so that was a big spike in damage for him.
A solo kill from ArcSecond. Now that's a big deal for them. That's something that they haven't had in this game or in the last match as well, so that's going to be a big confidence boost for him. And he's got the Rod of Ages stacking. Don't see many Rod of Ages from Orianna anymore.
No.
But I like the build that he's picking up in this game. I can expect him to build a Zhonya's Hourglass at some point just because of the threat of Zed in the late game. But at the same time, I like that he's going for the scaling. ArcSecond loves to play for the late game.
Oh, Chump John gonna get dove down here. Deathmark, shurikens, everything all over the place. Juking around with the fancy feet. Golden Glue finds himself a quick and easy kill on that Aurelia.
And this is just what CompLexity White loves to do. They send Golden Glue to split push. They try and defend this forward. And it's so hard to deal with the split pushing Zed because there's not many people, especially at this point in the game, that can go 1v1 with the Zed, especially since now he's got 3 kills under his belt. So they have to expend a lot of resources to stop him or just accept what he's going to be able to do in another lane, which is so hard to make those clutch decisions in the moment.
The fight for the blue wraith there. Red buff gonna get tossed on over to Hoofspark, and are they gonna look for any kind of initiation here is the question. But CompLexity White, they're doing some counter warding, getting aggressive, trying to drop some wards of their own in the red side of the jungle, which they do. Meanwhile, you know, Westeros, Golden Glue, they've both been kind of splitting off. They've been doing their thing, pushing out the side lanes. Just that it's barely on the tip of the wing.
Hoofspark's doing his best right now to get as much CS as he can, but it just seems like the risk in picking the Vayne is not paying off.
No.
He hasn't completed an item. Granted, Impactful has not completed an item as well, but at this point, Vayne is just so far behind, 40 CS down from her counterpart in the Lucian, and just trying her best to pick up as much CS as she can, but Golden Glue's on his way down here, and that's going to mean it's time for Hoofspark to leave. Yeah,
he's going to have to hoof it out of there, but he's trying. He's going Infinity Edge first. Normally you wouldn't see that. You would see the Blade of the Rune King, but Infinity's Edge, I guess he's going to look for those hopefully lucky crits on the tumbles, and that could be a huge spike in damage that he would need, but we'll see how it plays out. Getting the comeback Infinity's Edge is pretty risky. I'm not sure, I feel.
And once that Blade of the Rune King is finished for Golden Glue, there's going to be not many things that are going to be able to stand in his way. Chump John not quite even reached that Trinity Force, so he hasn't even gotten to the point where he's starting to build tanky. There's really not many tanky members on the team of Monstar Kittenz. Golden Glue can pretty much have his way in these team fights. Yeah. There's not even a Mikhail's belt, or even not many pieces of a Mikhail's. There's the one piece of it, but it's going to be a while.
Sojin's going through. There's a nice Howling Gale and a 2 Shockwave. Is a complete whiff, but it doesn't matter. They find Lopelli on the back of it. Westeros with the Unstoppable Force is ready to go in as he TP'd down. He does end up going on a solo knockup on a Hanjaro with the ward on the top. Mabry, baby. That was some nice mechanics from him to just get that out of there and not have to use his flash, which is
Golden Glue on the flank.
Oh no, he's gonna go straight up the Sojin. There's the Ignite on top of it. Golden Glue stays alive. Chump John cannot find a response kill, but Hoofspark coming in with the final hour takes him down. So able to find 1 recovery kill out of that. ArcSecond looking for 1 more command attack. Can he get it? No, it doesn't look like he can. Kez in the meantime is gonna end up, actually ArcSecond does find it in mid. All over the place, all this action. Kez barely gets away, and it's just a 2 for 2. Actually a 2 for 3, excuse me. Hanjaro died in the beginning.
Yeah, a little bit of a crazy skirmish there that started all the way down close to the bottom lane and ended with Hoofspark and Kez trying to duke it out up by the top side red buff. So Monstar Kittenz looks like they come out a little bit on top. They're down in kills from that fight, but they are going to be able to pick up the dragon, which is going to give them a slight gold lead, only about 500. Oh, 3 for 3. Okay, well, then they come out even and ahead with that dragon pickup, so that's going to be great for them. Of course, Hoofspark picks up a kill, is able to finish the Infinity Edge and start going with that dagger. So he's got going.
He's looking for that static shift next, most likely.
Yep.
And then the same could be said for Hoofspark. I mean, I guess for completely going for Blade of the Rune King. I mean, I don't know what I missed, but I guess Vayne wants to get an IE when she's behind. But
yeah,
it's working out for him. He got that kill on Golden Glue, so
yeah,
he's doing what he can. Kez.
He's really going for that extra tumble damage from the bonus damage from the tumble. I'm sure he's maxing that first as opposed to the Silver Bolt's max from attack speed.
Wait, who got Hoofspark?
I think Hoofspark was the one who ended up getting that one in the end. I have no idea.
Wow, all right. Spite was still up 2 for Kez, but...
Actually, no, I think it was actually Arc second. Hoofspark had the blue buff from the
from the fight, yes. He took off Golden. Okay.
So Arc second has the blue buff as well, and his is fresh, so it was him that was able to pick that up. That's going to be good for him, and he's well on his way to building what looks like, I'm guessing, it would be the most logical choice would be the Zhonya's Hourglass.
Yeah. Just go pure tank, like tank mage.
Yeah.
Get all the damage you can, all the health and armor you can. Just try to negate what Golden Glue is trying to do to you and assassinating you. And it's just a good response to Deathmark, man. You just get hit by the Deathmark, wait a second, and boop, just Zhonya's, and you're good to go.
What Monstar Kittenz have to do is make sure that their carries are going to be okay in the late game against Golden Glue.
This is going to be a huge flanking onto Golden Glue right now. Flashing away Chump John, but there's a shadow there for Golden Glue to get himself out of there. He does slow them down just a bit. The Howling Gale is not going to be in range, so this is the epic chase, and maybe the epic getaway as Golden Glue is running away. Shadow's one way, going to get hit by the ball and slow down, but there's a dark passage from Low Pally, the savior of Golden Glue.
Yeah, that was a really risky attempt at a play from Golden Glue, but that's just how he plays. He didn't really have much vision going on the entire top side of the map, and he still tried to go for that solo kill. Well, I guess Chump John was the one who initiated it, but still, Golden Glue trying to make that split push work, and it seems like CompLexity is the ones who are sort of trying to scrap here. They're sort of trying to make things happen. Monstar Kittenz all of a sudden has seemed like they're the ones who are making the plays, and they're the ones who are controlling the map. They feel a lot more confident now. They feel a lot more comfortable with the game. Chump John's finished that Trinity Force. He's starting to go for the tank build. Once the Zhonya's Hourglass and the Mikael's Crucible are finished for Arc second and Hajaro respectively, they should be in a pretty good spot as long as they're able to shut down Golden Glue in those team fights with double exhaust. Shouldn't be too hard, but once they're able to do that, they should be okay.
Yeah, that exhaust combination from the support and the AD carry is going to be a real hindrance to Golden Glue.
Oh yeah,
he's going to be like, all right, I'm deathmarking in. Oh, I got exhausted. All right, exhaust is gone. I'm going to shadow back in. Oh, I'm exhausted again. All right, so we'll see how he deals with it. But Hajaro, in the meantime, he's going to get dealt with swiftly with a swift kick to the face, and then that'll be Maybe Baby finding himself a 4th kill.
And he was going out there trying to get that vision, but Janna, one of the most susceptible supports to being caught out just because she's still squishy, she got absolutely exploded at the beginning of that fight. So CompLexity, again, trying to control that vision, but they don't have as much of a foothold this game as they did in the last match, and it definitely shows with the score. Perfect game last game, not so perfect this game.
No, not so perfect indeed. It's already just so much better for Monstar Kittenz. Getting 3 dragons, finding themselves a minor advantage earlier on. It's still been teetering back and forth between teams, so they're doing what they can to keep up. Only a 1,000 gold discrepancy, so doing a good job. And Chump John, he's found himself a lot more farm this time around, and still 0-3, but he's got the Trinity Force. He'll be looking to make that random and Omen and try to tank up for the rest of this game.
And the things we were worried about in Champion Select for Monstar Kittenz, and the thing that I'm sure Monstar Kitten was worried about in Champion Select, was how they're going to scale. And whoa, this is really dangerous, but Malphite's teleporting in.
Oh, that damage from the intense style, so much output there. But Westrice, no problem for him. Gets the Unstoppable Force and finds himself the counter kill. But that's huge for Chump John. Finding his first kill of the game and being it on Golden Glue is a pretty big feat for him.
Yeah, once he starts stacking that armor, he already has the Ninja Tabby and is going to go really heavy armor solely so he can deal with the split push from Golden Glue. And like you said, it looks like he's being able to deal with it. And now Monstar Kittenz, the one being the aggressors.
Oh, the Dissonance hit on Arc second. The box comes out as well, but a Shockwave is going to pull 2 back on in with the Dissonance, but this turret is just free from the side of Monstar Kittenz. But down bot, Westrice just being annoying and pushing down.
Yeah, Malphite, maybe not the best of split pushers, but that's sort of what they resort to, especially when CompLexity White is on the ropes. That's when they go to the split pushing the most, just to try and cause some chaos, utilize their strong mission control to make picks. He's going to have to hightail it out of there, though, because Chump John is a really formidable force right now. He's died 4 times this game, but even so, that huge power spike that Aurelia and most champions get once they build the Trinity Force, and especially Aurelia starting to get some defensive items, he can deal with just about any champion split pushing, including Golden Glue, but I'm excited to watch a duel that's going to happen between those guys if they're both full health and they meet up in one of these solo lanes.
And Golden Glue now has his Last Whisper too, so that's,
oh, wow. That's a big
huge
deal.
amount of armor penetration.
Yeah, Brutalizer plus Last Whisper, so he's going to be tearing through that. It's sort of an arms race. I'll build more armor pen, you build more armor. We'll see where we meet up with that one, but both teams sort of playing it a little more passive now, just still struggling to control vision across the river. Both teams are sort of afraid to get deep control just because they're afraid to sort of make the risky move into the jungle, because this game is so close, and I know these teams know it. And a lot of the times, these teams will play really conservatively and be afraid to make plays.
Sojin, he's got Hanjaro behind him for that shield, so he'll be able to escape on out. They know that Dragon is up. Golden Glue's going to keep on split pushing and run at the Chump John. So it'll be a 4 versus 4 here at this Dragon Pit, but with Orianna, it's going to make it nearly impossible. And look at that damage coming in. Hoofspark going to be able to condemn Baby back. So they have to retreat on out, and it looks like this is going to be the 4th Dragon of the game for Monstar Kittenz, unless Kaz has something to say about it.
Yeah, he's going to look for the steal, but looks like ArcSecond's going to be able to zone him off this one. He's going to take his consolation prize of the pink ward, but not quite as much worth as the Dragon.
They had to be really careful getting out of that pit too. Had an unstoppable force hit, then that could have been all but over for them. Good damage coming in from Chump John, but now he's just going to commit in here. Golden Glue just doing so much with that death mark. It's not going to be enough to pop him. So they trade back and forth, and Golden Glue coming out just about the same health as
close.
Chump John.
Yeah, I think Golden Glue might have a little bit more sustain with the Blade of the Rune King, but it's really tough to...
Oh! Wait, what was that? Golden Glue!
Oh my goodness.
What?
The Equilibrium Strike completely stopped him in his tracks, and it looks like...
Oh, they found the Destinus on a Hoofspark. They're going to bring him underneath that turret. He tries to find Hour and tumble away. He gets kicked back in. Maybe Baby's going to find that kill. Ignite comes in onto Kaz. He's forced to retreat, gets healed on out of there. And now Monstar Kittenz, they gotta be careful and get on out of there.
It's a 1-for-1 across the map, but an 0-for-1 in favor of CompLexity White down in the bottom lane. So Chump John, though, coming up big. It looks like, I don't know, Golden Glue maybe with a little bit of a misplay there, flashed and missed the shadow, and an easy Equilibrium Strike from Chump John just completely obliterated him without any of that tenacity under the turret. He built the Merc Treads next, so he really doesn't want to be caught in that type of position again.
I mean, I understand where he was coming from, but that was a really risky play. He paid for it big time, but...
Yeah,
nothing away from Chump John. That was a great reaction for the Equilibrium Strike.
Yeah, these guys, I said the top lane was the lane to watch because both of these guys, well, Westrice I was talking about, but CompLexity White in general, they love to split push, and Chump John is also the big split pusher of the Challenger Series and loves to put on the map pressure, so he is not a stranger to 1v1s, especially as Aurelia, but I think Golden Glue, he likes to play aggressive, but I think he's going to want to rethink his game plan when he's in the same lane as Chump John.
That was a little too aggressive. I mean,
a little bit too aggressive.
I mean, when you try to do that, that's really putting yourself out there. But I mean, Chump John's going to be feeling confident. He built this Frozen Heart now. You know how hard it's going to be for Kez and Golden Glue and even Mabry to get an auto attack off? That's 50% slow. It's crazy.
Yeah, Chump John takes 0 prisoners up in that top lane. And you said it, I don't think Golden Glue is really going to try to break through that Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart, you don't think of Zed as an auto attack champion as much, but so much of that Death Mark pop damage, that proc damage from the Death Mark comes from the auto attacks that you make when you use the ultimate. So it's going to be able to block a lot of damage, not only from the reduced attack speed, but also from the absurd amount of armor that it gives. So.
All right, so Chump John, he's just doing his thing down bot, keeps on pushing. He's going to keep Westrice busy with a pushed up wave. So they could look to try to force some kind of fight out here, but TP is up. Sojin just spun it out, so he hopefully just uses that Scrying Orb that, who has that picked up? Oh, it's okay. It's Hoofspark who has that one scouting out everybody. And they make their way down bot, so this is going to be the first possible 5v5.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this next 5v5 fight's going to go. It's all going to come down to the initiation. CompLexity White has the Malphite, they have the Lee Sin, so their initiation is fantastic. But at the same time, Shockwave is one of the ultimate fight turners.
Yes.
Especially as Complexity White, you're tunneling, you're saying, okay, West Right's ult in. You're so focused on the initiation that you don't remember where that ball is and get caught in a Shockwave. Whoa!
Not going to commit the death mark, though. So he's able to just get out of there. They spot him out with their own scrying orb. I love the teams that are picking these up. It's such a good trinket that you don't really see too often. People have been picking up a little bit more lately, but when it gets to that late game point, you're like, oh no, someone disappeared. Let me just scry Glenn's over here.
Yeah, and especially in close games, I think is when the scrying orb comes into play the most, just because one catch or one positioning mistake for a team can result in a loss, especially as the game gets later and later. So they really want to make sure that when they make the Shockwave.
Oh, but a nice Shadow Juke comes in and they're going straight to the Hoof Spark. That's the big target they want, and Kez is on the killing spree. Death Sentence connected on a Sojin. They're going to look to go for more, but a great Monsoon from Hanjaro is going to disengage from that, and an even better Howling Gale on a 3. And now Chump John has joined the fight. He's looking for something.
Westwise is off to the side.
Yeah, Westwise is looking for it. He can not flash it. It is on cooldown, so no unstoppable force just from that. But with the Death Push Spark, that should be their push in here onto this tier 2. We'll see what they do, but a Howling Gale actually going to interrupt Kez from coming in any further. And that's going to be a free tier 2 turret over to the side of Complexity White. As now, they're with 2,000 gold ahead. The gold has just been staying so even between these teams this game.
Yeah, you can tell just by the objectives. They've been trading turrets pretty much back and forth. Complexity White does have that kill lead. A lot of that's from early on in the game with Golden Glue split pushing and them just being able to pick up kills left and right. But it's sort of started to stabilize. But what I really want to point out in that fight was that's a pretty big positioning error from Hoofspark. He was all the way on the other side of the wall from his teammates trying to come up through the Wraiths by the Wraith camp, and that's just something that you can't afford, especially as Vayne, who...
That was the pink word that killed him. Take it out, Ark.
Yeah, that's, he's trying to I'll avenge my brother, pink word. But he really needs to focus on being well positioned as Vayne, because she's one of the champions, one of the AD carries that matters the most. Your positioning matters the most, because Tumble can be considered an escape, but it's mostly a tool to just dodge skill shots. It's not really going to get you out of many sticky situations. And if Hoofspark dies, that's a lot of that late game damage potential that Monstar Kittenz is going to lose on that they really cannot afford to do.
He's also going Phantom Dancer too, so he's going to skip out on the shiv and just go straight for this raw attack speed and crit.
The old school AD carry build, the once upon a time every single AD carry in the world built. It was either Bloodthirster Phantom Dancer or Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer every game, game after game.
Yep, and you can see how much he's suffering too compared to Maybe Baby. Oh, this is a bush camp. Sojin gonna get Death Sentence. Oh, it just melts. And they squished that bug no problem, and now they're gonna go for their first dragon of the game. So out of 5, they finally got one.
Yeah, it seems like Monstar Kittenz might be losing a little bit of focus here, because they're just sort of wandering into areas that they have no business being in, and Sojin really had to expect at least a couple people to be in that position. And Vision is a team effort. You can't be going in there and warding alone unless you know for a fact that it's going to be safe for you. And also, you were talking about the bottom lane there, Hoofspark and Maybe Baby. Look at that CS difference. That's crazy. 110 CS. That was almost double about a minute ago.
Crazy.
So you are exactly right in saying that Hoofspark is very far behind as far as itemization goes, and even as far as kills goes. Maybe Baby is rapidly approaching 3 items, and I think he's got a lot of gold in his pocket as well to make his way to 4 items. And Hoofspark just finished that Phantom Dancer.
Oh, that was a nice Howling Gale in 4. Very rare to see that. But once the Bloodthirster is done from Maybe Baby, that's gonna be huge. That shield is gonna be nice for blocking a lot of the damage, and just stay in a safe distance, and you're good to go. So we're gonna see them go straight in. I love what Hanjaro did. He placed the pink ward and then left a sentry in the back. So they cleared the pink, and they're like, oh, it's clear. So now, this is going to be a big fight. They teleported into that ward, coming in from Chump John. The box was popped out from Low Pally. They go straight on in. Hoofspark is dead. Golden Glue finds that kill, but Chump John on the side. Shockwave! It's going to hit on the 4. They're going to take down 3. Looking for more. The reset comes in from Sojin. They go to Low Pally, and now that's the 3rd Zed. West Rice is going to be soon to fall. Red buff to slow him down. They're going straight on into him. He's slowed. He's dead. He's gone. And that is going to be a Baron throw coming in from Complexity White with a beautiful ward from Hanjaro. Maybe looking for Kez as he safeguards away. Chump John not giving it up. Gets the Equilibrium Strike, the hit 10 style, hits to the ace. Comes in from Complexity White as now, not Complexity White, from Monstar Kittenz as they're going to get Baron.
What a shockwave by Arcsecond there to completely turn the fight around. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Teams that have the malfights really need to make sure that they're focusing on themselves as well as the initiation from the fight. It was a wonderful initiation by West Rice. They killed Hoofspark almost instantly in that fight.
But then,
But a
Shockwave.
4-man Shockwave from ArcSecond chunked them all down, and ChumpJohn was able to just roam around that
Jesus.
fight, clean up. They get a clean ace, plus the Baron, a turret. Monstar Kittenz are now in the driver's seat for this game.
Oh, Legend's going to end up pulling in Maybe, baby, but ChumpJohn, he is no easy kill right here. There's the culling, just
It's
tickling him.
yes.
Look at him. Maybe Baby's trying, though.
What are those,
He'll
mosquitoes?
give it up. But yeah, that's crazy. That was a huge swing of momentum. I would be feeling so good right now if I was Monstar Kittenz after that fight and the Baron.
Well, the thing about it is, I can't say it enough. Hoofspark died instantly.
Yeah,
there was
that was a
nothing,
4 versus 5.
nothing that he can do. That fight was, yeah, a legitimate 4 versus 5. But you got to think, what they blew so much on him. Golden Glue used the Death Mark in onto Hoofspark. They used the Malphite ultimate pretty much only onto Hoofspark, and that just left ArcSecond and ChumpJohn to be able to wreak havoc all over that fight. And Impactful did what he could.
Yep.
But it's just so hard without that front line anymore to really do much of anything, especially on Lucian. And now they have to really be scared, because if Hoofspark manages to live through one of those fights, then this is going to be disaster for
yeah.
CompLexity White.
Especially once he has his last Whisper, too. And with the Silver Bolt on top of it, he's going to be just destroying these people. And he already does do quite a bit of damage to West Rice because he built so much HP that those Silver Bolts are going to just melt through his health. But with this, there's the Yoma's Ghostblade. Sojin forced to use that ultimate and stealth his way and leap his way out of there. So, not losing too much there. Low cooldown on that ultimate from Kha'Zix, so they just back on up. They're giving respect to each other, which is definitely what both teams need to do at this point. To not risk losing any further. But, oh no! That's that is connected to Sojin. He's caught out again without that ultimate, though. Gets flayed back and now forced to flash. So using all of his escapes.
Yeah, he was actually really patient there, though. He actually held on to his leap.
He had the command to protect, too.
Yeah, so he knew that he was safe enough. He waited for the flay before he used the escape, because that's a big mistake that a lot of players, especially in Kha'Zix, will make, or even Jarvan. They'll get hooked in by Thresh and immediately try and escape or flash, and then it'll just get flayed right back in and don't even go anywhere from the escape. But great patience there. This is CompLexity White, though, scrambling. They're trying to go for the Fnatic brush there, trying to pick him off. But Monstar Kittenz are just now, you can tell just the confidence that they're exuding by the amount of pressure that they're putting on the map. This is the first time that we've seen them gain control of one of the sides of the jungle of CompLexity White. So this is really looking up for them. The goal lead is not that big, but they have the Baron, and you can tell that they're actually starting to win these team fights.
Yeah, they're ahead now in gold finally after being down for about 15 minutes. So see them keep on pushing, but this could be a good flank from Golden Glue. He's coming out from the blue side of their jungle. If he can find it onto Hoofspark, then they could be looking at a 5 versus 3 because ChumpJohn already rotated back into mid. Get that wave pushing to deal with Golden Glue split push.
Yeah, ChumpJohn is really on Golden Glue duty right now, just trying to keep track of him as much as he can.
He's trying to be the rubber to his glue.
Exactly. And he's really just trying to communicate to his team, like, hey, Golden Glue, he's in the lane, and I can take him, but if he starts coming to you guys, you better get the heck out of there.
Yeah. I imagine that ChumpJohn sounds exactly like that.
Yeah.
All right, Yomus was popped out from Golden Glue again. He's just scaring away Sojin. Oh, Hoofspark, no! He gets hit. There's like a death, but he gets kicked through the wall. He's forced to flash to the other side of Shockwave. He's going to keep Golden Glue away for a little bit. Sonic Wave comes in. They get the Death Mark on top of it, but there's the Zaydi's Hourglass. Hoofspark is going to get the shield and stay alive for a little bit. The Monsoon is keeping him alive! He's still alive. ArcSecond falls, though, in the end. And now they're chasing on a Hanjaro. Everything he did was for Hoofspark. Still trying to cut this one through. The Condemn comes in, but it was safeguard. Kez actually gets through that Howling Gale. There's the culling over the side, and that's only going to be one person dead in what could have been a catastrophic loss from Monstar Kittenz.
Yeah, that was a really rough start to that engagement, but Hoofspark managed to live with the sliver of health. It was like Ignite Tick, and then Gen Ult Tick, Ignite Tick, and then he barely survived with just a little bit of
that
sliver of health.
shield, too, just...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was just really close from what you said, being extremely disastrous for Monstar Kittenz. ChumpJohn now has his teleport available, so he's going to be able to maybe join a fight if that happens again. They do pick up the dragon, so despite losing a member and despite an almost disastrous team fight, they still seem to want to be the ones that are in control. And CompLexity, the big thing about this late game team fight, though, is I think they lack quite a bit of damage. Once Golden Glue is in there and exhausted, once that ultimate is down, they're really just don't have much ability besides the Lucian, besides Impactful, to be able to clean up those fights. And I like the itemization choice by Hanjaro here. He actually went for that early locket to make sure that his team would be able to get out of that Malphite ultimate in pretty decent shape.
Yep.
And that's a great choice. He didn't build the Mikhails, which is something that you think would be big, but
big
they're
blue
okay
buff.
with losing Hookspark.
This is a big blue buff, and he'll jump over. He loses
got
it. Oh, nice smite coming from Kez. But at what cost? Howling Gale, Zephyr is going to come through as well, slow him up. They use the Talisman of Ascension, but they're not going to go any further.
Yeah, especially for Arc Second. In a siege scenario, that blue buff is a really big deal in Orianna because you want to be able to reposition your ball constantly to give that threat.
So yeah, he needs it.
Yeah, exactly. You talked about the build that he was going earlier. Rod of Ages is not a normal choice that Oriannas tend to go to because of the amount of mana sustain that they're sacrificing to be able to go for that little bit of extra health. But other than that, pretty standard, and he's actually doing an absurd amount of damage now that he has the completed Void Staff, the completed Rabadon's Death Cap, and of course the Zonias to be able to block out that Death Mark. Arc Second is a really scary force.
Yes, he is. But an equally scary force is still Golden Glue, Hookspark's worst enemy.
Yeah.
He's got a Quicksilver Sash now too, so he's not going to worry about Equilibrium Strike. He's not going to worry about getting slowed by Zephyr or condemned to the wall. So he's got what he can to get out.
I think Hookspark's going to want to build his own Quicksilver
yeah.
Sash pretty soon here. Either that or Mikhails, which haven't come out. But I guess they're okay with Hoofspark dying. They realize, you know what, Hoofspark? We can really afford to just have you die at the beginning of the fight. So
we don't even need you, man. Just stay out of this.
Yeah, you can just be the bait. We'll let you die. I'm not going to build a Mikhails. And if you want a QSS, go for it, but you're on your own, buddy.
GA at this point may be a better option.
That could be an option as well, especially since the initial damage from Malphite
they want
as well.
this.
Oh, wow.
They popped the Talisman. They're just going to go straight into this right now. So just going to tank it up. They're doing a bunch of damage. The Colony's going to clear up that wave, though. And as the minions push on up, they're going to get that reduced armor. And Hanjaro, man, he's got to be very careful. If I was Golden Glue at this point, I'd probably just worry about killing Hanjaro because that's the only reason that Hoofspark has been able to stay up like this.
They really made a great move there. They saw Kez and Low Pally on their ward by the Baron Pit. And they made that split-second decision to say, let's make a super aggressive push, go for some damage on that turret, and now they're roaming around the map as 5, making moves and forcing Complexity's hand here. Complexity Sorting has to scrap to get these wards in the Baron area because if they lose control of vision for even a couple moments, this Baron-taking team from Monstar Kittenz, they can take it really quickly.
Very, very. The Mercurial Scimitar was just finished by Golden Glue too, so he's going to get that extra movement speed on top of it. And the ward going to get cleared out finally, but I'm pretty sure it'll be replaced in an instant. There it goes. The Sightstone coming into a big effect as they're just continuing to commit to the split push here from Complexity White. They're going to put the hammer down. They're like, you either go do Baron or you fight us right now and stop this push. As Golden Glue just goes in, they're coming from behind. Spark with Chump John leading the way. Can they do it? There's going to be the turret getting destroyed. Barbie baby, what are you going to do to get out of here? Here's Chump John coming in with the Equilibrium Strike, going to stun him up, hit 10 style, Blade of the Rune King, so much damage. Look at him just dashing on in, doing so much to kill him, and they got Hanjaro. Maybe baby going to find that kill. Hookspark is going to end up dying to the Death Mark. Yes, he does. And Death Sentence comes in. They're going to find Arc Second, and no, and everything just erupts. Chump John's still alive, though, with the double kill. It's a 2 for 2. They're chasing this one out. Golden Glue going to get flashed on. There's Chump John with Sojin. Going to find the kill. The kick is not going to stop him, though, as there's the Dark Passage from Low Pally to keep him alive, and in a 3 for 2, losing 3 main players from Complexity White, Monstar Kittenz come out ahead.
Yeah, Monstar Kittenz is really in a great position now. Complexity White just doesn't have the damage to be able to take these team fights on. Chump John went for Blade of the Ruin King as an item in this game. He built it a little bit late, but it's a great choice because he's not being focused at all. There's nothing Complexity White can do to be able to deal with Chump John at this point in the game, so he's able to clean up the fights. But yeah,
both
I don't know if I
level.
agree with this choice. This is going to be a legitimate 50-50 for this Baron fight. Which jungler has the better smite? And I don't think Monstar Kittenz should be the one to be able to initiate this.
They should hold on to it. They should hold on to it. We can't see it right now. He's got the Sonic Wave, and he doesn't get the steal. It's going to be Sojin finding that smite and taking the Baron. That's the second one of the game, and I believe Hanjaro spawned in time to get the buff.
That's going to be a pretty big deal for them, but what a risky play by Monstar Kittenz.
When you're sweating.
When you're ahead like this in a game, putting it up to a 50-50 for a Baron smite is not something that I think I would take the risk of, but Monstar Kittenz has showed us that they are a risky team, picking Vayne into these type of champions. Hookspark has... I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but he literally hasn't done anything in these team fights.
He's got 4 assists. He's done some stuff when he gets like a condemn off randomly, but...
He condemns and then he dies instantly.
Yeah.
And his team's patting him on the back. Great job, Hookspark. You did your job.
You're just a bait. That's all you are. You're just a giant bait. We're going to hook, line, and sinker these guys with you.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have Baron either, so he's just even more naked at this point. They just go in with Deathmark or anything like that. I don't even think they need Deathmark at this point to kill him. He's got QSS, so he can cleanse it off. And I actually like what ArcSecond is building here. He's going for the Lich Bane as his final item for that 6-slot build.
Wow, that is... there's a lot of times where Oriannas actually don't even make it to the 6th item here. Usually we see the 4 items, so that 6th item has a lot of versatility, but I really like the Lich Bane. That's sort of a more aggressive approach, and it sort of fits in with the Orianna because you really want to weave in those auto attacks when you're in a fight anyway, just because of the extra damage that you can do, especially with lots of AP this late in the game. So having that little bit of extra burst is going to really be valuable for them in these little skirmishes or the team fights that we're going to see later in the game. Now, Hoofspark has built that Quicksilver stash now, so he's going to be a little bit better position. And it's actually a win-win for them, because if he gets focused, they know they can win fights still. If he doesn't get focused, then he's Bane, late game.
I'm going to Silver Bolt you down no matter what. It doesn't matter. But we're going to see if they can make this push in. This is a very big push for them with the Baron buff still on them. It's over half at this point completed, or duration, half duration is completed. So we're going to see them keep on pushing through. They have a big wave down bot, but up top it's not pushing, as Westrise has been doing a good job of keeping these waves pushed out with Golden Glue. And this is looking pretty, not desperate, but they really want to try to push their advantage in.
Yeah, they don't have the best siege-type compositions because, of course, they have Bane as an AD carry who doesn't want to get too close because of the threat of the Malphite ultimate. So they're really just trying to get pot shots on this turret, and it's just not working out for them. The turret's not really falling.
That was so close to ArcSecond.
Wow.
They should just, they're rotating down. They're going to go straight for that tier 3, as they did do quite a bit of damage to it earlier on. The culling, though, will clear out quite a bit, and Descendant's going to get tumbled away. It's who's going to bite the bullet first is the real question, because Westrise can go with the Unstoppable Force, or we could have ArcSecond look for that Shockwave. But all flashes are currently available besides Westrise's. And, it's getting tense. This is something that you do not want to throw. This is something that would haunt you.
Yeah, once the fight breaks out, it's going to be explosive, but I think both these teams are going to be pretty conservative in how they approach this and waiting for the perfect opportunity. One reason why ArcSecond might be building the Lich Bane as well is to get a little bit of extra turret damage, because right now, it's really just Chump John, and there goes the turret!
Shockwave goes out to 2 as well. Westrice is going to be targeted down with Kez, but Unstoppable Force comes through. Hanjaro's going to split up the fight, keep Chump John alive. Look at that Howling Gale, knocking up 3. They do end up getting Chump John out. He flashes, just barely staying alive with a sliver of health. ArcSecond is going to get targeted out. Exhaust goes in out to Mabry, baby. He's forced to just relentless pursuit out of there, and they do get the inhibitor. Nobody dies besides Westrice, and that's going to be the 1 for 9 and a big push to come in from Monster. Gets the flash forward. Yomo's Ghostblade comes in. ArcSecond with a good Zynia's Hourglass, but can he stay alive? There's the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike, but he gets interrupted by the Howling Gale. They're going to use the Disruption as well to speed themselves out of there and slow down the chase from CompLexity White. And Kez, he's trying to not give it up, but does have to in the end, and they're going to grab a Constellation Dragon.
Yeah, might as well, running by it, but that was a great fight from Monstar Kittenz, and Chump John just really said, you know what, screw it, I'm going in, I'm going to get this turret. He drew so much damage to himself as well that he really let ArcSecond be able to be in the back and help his team take that inhibitor. The death mark was used on Chump John as well, and he didn't even fall in that fight, so that's just a great engagement by Monstar Kittenz. They're able to break open the shell, which is going to be a huge, huge deal for this team comp that they have going for them. It's going to allow them a little more wiggle room with how they're able to see.
He's got to be so happy. There's got to be a big grin on his face when he's mashing Q like that.
And Hoofspark's probably like, but I want some CS too.
He's still 200 CS down.
Yeah.
From Maybe Baby.
That's ridiculous. That's almost double the CS of a Vayne. It's not something that you usually see, and it just goes to show you how, I guess, disposable Monstar Kittenz thinks Hoofspark is in this game. I feel a little bad for him.
He's literally a body. He's got to be a target at this point, but, I mean, CompLexity and White have to figure this out. It's got to be going through their heads that, Vayne, we don't care.
Yeah.
It's Chump John and it's ArcSecond that we need to target down, because they're causing the most havoc in these fights and just completely destroying us from everything.
Yeah. Chump John actually went for the Wit's End as his 6th item, which is, I mean, again, a lot of times we don't see 6 items, but I like that choice to be more of a threat in these fights. Here we go!
There's a shotgun by Kez as well. They're going to be able to blow him up. There's the Howling Gale on top of it. Low Pally doing what he can with the box. They're doing all they can to take down Mabry, baby. Jumping in. Soldier's going to be able to find the kill and take him out. Hoofspark staying alive miraculously as he's got red buff. He's going to chase down to the Westrice, and this could be game as Low Pally is going to fall in the back. That's a 4 for none. Monstar Kittenz, they've done it. They found the hole in the gap and just cinched it.
Wow, that was an impressive fight, especially since they used so much onto Kez. They actually used the Shockwave, And that really just goes to show you how much work Chump John's doing in this one. They're blowing so much damage on him that they just don't have enough damage to do much anything else in these fights. And, I mean, they get good initiations off. You got to hand it to West Rice. He had some good unstoppable forces, but Monstar Kittenz just making this one work and taking the game home, and really impressive victory for them and bringing it to a Game 3. And that's just a huge confidence boost for them as well, I think, because they, after being almost perfect gamed by CompLexity White in the first matchup, they come back and make it through, slug it out, and have a great victory under their belts.
All right, so with that, we're going to be heading into Game 3 really soon. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, the hype